you know, also.
I mean, the devil. How could he murdered her 200 and so many thousand? That's almost, that's.
We're talking about tens of thousands of casualties of dead people from fire of the Assad regime, from the actual use, a daily basis use of the chemical weapons cache that he still controls and holds.
Okay.
And somebody has to put a stop to it. And I think that
Man, that's bullshit.
by,
See, man.
assisting him, by aiding him, that's not the solution.
Okay, Franklin, jump in.
Alright.
And certainly it's not the solution to follow your
I have no
line of
idea what
thinking
this
if it
fool's
coincides
talking
with
about.
John
He
McCain.
just bad, but
He wants, you know what he wants, a no-fly zone. We learned from Libya what a no-fly zone means. It means 22,000 aerial attacks, 9,000 of them targeting every target, a kid on a motorcycle if necessary. So McCain wants all
see, listen to what he just said. He just opened his
I
mouth.
think the Russians and the Iranians and the Americans and eventually the EU and the UN are looking at this differently. And you know, if you come to Syria, you'll see it's a little more complex. And those who say they understand it all, I think they don't. I think there's plenty of confusion. So I bet on the only bright spot I see are the Iranians, the Americans, and the Russians pushing with Brahimi and the others a peace program and plan. And remember, Malala, the foreign minister, said that
This guy's
the Syrians will show up. We'll let them
diplomat
come to the table.
for
Let Al
us.
Bashir come. Let John McCain come.
And he's
They'll all come.
somewhere.
That's better than what's going on now. It's got to be preceded, Geneva II, by a ceasefire. So what's wrong with that?
Martin, what's wrong with that?
Franklin, well, I wonder, Franklin, do you believe that any peace can come with Assad remaining in power?
Franklin, you want to answer the question?
Till the election. Yeah, till the election, I think it can. And I'm not convinced personally that he wants to stay beyond
run
it.
a free and open and fair election?
Franklin?
Well, we can get Jimmy Carter over there, and we can get the UN.
Jimmy Carter? What the hell is he talking about?
To prove to the world that it's
Jimmy Carter.
And there'll be plenty of pressure on them to make sure that happens. But give credit to the Syrian people. You know, it's not just their 8,000 years of history and their deep culture.
Come
they're
on
not in
now.
love with their government, but they're in love with their country. And I've seen that from Homs to Aleppo to Damascus. It's remarkable. I'm an American. I love my country. But I don't think I have that kind of deep love that the Syrian people have. They're going to survive with or without this regime. And I think we should and let
the VideoDrome
these regime issues in the next election.
Okay, Dan in Washington, jump in.
Yeah, I'd like to say that, first of all, to set the record straight, Israel has no interest in this conflict continuing.
Then why is it bomb Syria? Why is it bomb Syria? Why is it bomb Syria then?
Israel wishes the Syrian people peace and tranquility and a democratic government with Assad in the picture. I don't know if Israel bombed or did not bomb. That's according to media accounts. I do know that there are red lines for the Israeli government, and if somebody crosses those red lines, Israel is bound to respond in a certain way. So if weapons are transferred,
they're not bound to do it.
Sophisticated weapons and technology and missiles and chemical weapons may be
Oh man, come on.
into the hands of Hezbollah. From the point of view of Israel, it will be a red line, and Israel will not allow this red line to be crossed. But and another thing, I have to respond to what Patrick said, is the issue of but the involvement of the Iranian regime that Patrick sees in a positive way, I think it's detrimental. It's destructive.
Are you people really see, man? Nobody. It goes beyond this bullshit. It goes beyond this bullshit. They're trying to appease to everybody, but we can see the bullshit.
Maybe Saudi Arabia can bring democracy to Syria.
Definitely. Saudi Arabia can.
How about Bahrain? How about Israel?
Hold the hell up, shit.
A democracy.
Martin, jump in. You have the floor.
A couple of options here, and as we've said, none of them are very good. But I think it's quite clear, and I would back up Franklin's point that the Syrian people love their nation and wish to see a peaceful, prosperous Syria. The question is, does involvement from anyone outside of Syria solve that? Does Hezbollah's involvement lead us towards peace? Does Iranian involvement lead us towards peace? Does Russia's continuing military supply support of of Syria lead to peace? Would Saudi Arabian involvement lead to peace? I am not sure that any one of those, and so perhaps it might need to be a true combination. And as Franklin suggests, maybe bringing the Iranians, the Russians, the Americans, and yes, the Saudis, along with the Turks, the Jordanians, and other regional actors into the room. But that's going to be some serious diplomatic muscle that needs to be flexed in order to make that happen. But I have a hard time seeing any other way it will be resolved, save for closing the borders and allowing the Syrians to sort it out for themselves. But that's a kind of blood sport
isolationist.
No one wishes to see.
Well, this is a very, very difficult problem. Gentlemen, we've run out of time. Many thanks today to my guests in Washington and in Beirut. And thanks to our viewers for watching us here at RT. See you next time. And remember, crosstalk rules.